All right. So what you're looking at, or at least for those that are on podcast, what I have here is are two lines, a blue line and a red line. The blue line starts high, finishes low over time, and the red line starts low and finishes high over time. The red line is the line for a child. So can you see that?
Mhm.
Can't read my handwriting probably, but when a child is born, they have zero agency. They're not able to answer or discuss or decide anything for themselves. They have to get everything they can from their parent, right? So by definition, the parent has 100%. The parent is the blue line, 100% control over their learning. Can you read that? Okay. So at birth, parent has 100% control or leadership of the learning, child has zero, right? We all agree with that, right? At some point in the future, uh, 13 years old, 8 years old, 20 years old, at some point in the future, every parent wants their child to be on the far right side of this graph where they are able to lead their own learning, exactly what you talked about, right? And the role of the parent declines to not never, parent will always have a role, but the role turns into a coach rather than the command and control trainer that an infant might have, right? So you've got kids that are in this early phase. You can't say to them probably, um, uh, well, child, what would you like to eat? Go ahead and go to the grocery store, buy it, and then cook it up and handle it, right? You can't do that, but you can when they're at some later point in their life. And so the point is that the job of the parent is to transition children into this independent agent action. So the first phase of this process is training, where you are constantly, again, I know this from just our conversations, you're teaching your kids, right? You're teaching them, how to tie their shoe, how to eat with a spoon, how to clean up their room, how to walk, how to, stay by the cart when you're at the grocery store. All these things you're teaching the child. That's what happens in the early phase. I used to call this the command and control phase, where the parent has control. I just changed the training, because the next phase is the challenging phase, and that's the negotiation phase. And again, this is not necessarily based on age, because we talked to a kid last night who, at the age of like 8, this kid was full in the negotiation stage, and he had a desire to lead his own learning. And by the age of 12, he was speaking at college level uh, um, kind of entrepreneurial events, right? He was just on it. He was gone. And so this idea of this negotiation, it can happen early. But I've also met parents and families who have kids who are, 20, 23, and they're still stuck in this phase. They've never kind of built their own agency. But then the last phase, of course, is really freedom. And that's freedom for the child and for the parent, where the parent no longer has to supervise a child, because the child has demonstrated their ability to supervise themselves. Is this making sense? Okay. This is the challenge that every parent has. And I hope this is starting to blow your mind, because as you think about what success actually is, I want to encourage you to think about this freedom stage as being true success, where you as a parent do not have to worry about your child, because they have demonstrated to you over months and years that they can handle it, mom, right? That's my definition of success. And that's where my kids are right now. And I've got a 15, 16, and 18-year-old, and hands off, they handle most of their decisions. They are far more responsible than I was at age 25, and they're 15, 16, et cetera. So this is the model. And the question that I would put to you is, where is your child? But the next question I would put to you is, what does a school typically do?